Hi guys, it's Carisa, and today I'm filming my week 19 update, which means I'm in week 20, and I'll have plenty to say about that, I'm sure, in my next update. But it did affect the length of time that it felt it took week 19 to pass. It was much slower than 16, 17, 18. It definitely felt like a little bit of a crawl, but it was so exciting to get through, and even 19 itself just felt like such an insane number. Before I get started, I feel like I want to address, I know I've mentioned this in the past, but I do want to address my upload schedule. I'm trying to come up with a sensible balance and almost a little bit of a schedule for myself. I'm not promising uploads on a certain date because I always felt like the second I did anything like that, I wouldn't enjoy YouTube anymore. But I'm trying to only work certain days of the week and then only edit and upload other days. I've only done it for a week so far, but it seems like it's maybe going to go well. But my schedule, my entire day is affected by my sleep. And I've had a rough week with sleep. I think it was Tuesday at 3 a.m. our power went out, and it was just so silent in the house and dark, and I was starting to feel like I couldn't breathe. And I'm going to talk more about that later in this video, but it was giving me a little bit of a panic, and I was having trouble breathing, so I just got up. I didn't try to stay in bed. Once the sun came up, I felt better, and the power did come back on at around 6. There was a storm, and all the transformers nearby blew. We actually saw them like light the sky up. So I knew it was going to be at least a couple of hours, and it got really hot in the house, and it was tough for me to just try and relax and go back to sleep. I felt like I could hear my own breathing really well, and it was making me feel crazy. So I waited, and I went back to sleep around 9, and I think I slept till 11 that day, and then got up and tried to proceed with my day as usual. But obviously that cuts into a huge portion of my day. There were days where I was doing that anyway, even if I did or didn't get an appropriate amount of sleep. I don't know, I'm learning to just not plan for anything, and that goes along with just my philosophy on how the next few months are going to go. I'm really not going to be too hard on myself, and I'm going to try really hard to just go with the flow, because I realize that, I mean, obviously once I have a baby, things will have to be that way anyway. There's no sense in getting all stressed out over things I can't control. So I think I'm doing pretty well with that, because this morning I woke up at 3 a.m. and I think I just had to pee. It wasn't, nothing really woke me up. And I was starving. I was so hungry. And that's been a problem this week in week 20, more than any other time, where I feel like what I used to eat isn't enough anymore. And I've been kind of worried about eating too much, not eating, a certain way. Basically every time I eat, I feel nervous about it. I feel like, is this going to keep me full? Is this nutritious enough? Am I going to regret this later? Am I going to be hungry in 20 minutes? Because sometimes that happens. And some nights I just want a bowl of cereal for dinner. It's hot. I'm kind of tired. I know I should eat something. I'm not super hungry, just a little hungry. And I'll have like a couple bowls of Cheerios or whatever. And I had a small handful of grapes. But I know that I'm going to wake up hungry when I eat like that. So I'm trying to figure something out, because I don't want to force feed myself, but what ends up happening is, like this morning at 3 o'clock, I got up to pee, and I don't think my hunger woke me up, but it became very noticeable right after I woke up. And it was not negotiable. I needed food. So I came downstairs, and I had like a dried fruit and chia bar. I think it's the 18 Rabbits brand. I had one of those and a bottle of water. And I think under typical circumstances, and I guess I mean pre-pregnancy me or earlier pregnancy me, that would have sufficed. But I could tell, just even as it was going into my body, it wasn't enough. So I tried to drink a second bottle of water and just sit and let that kind of kick in, and I started feeling worse. It was almost a nauseous type of hunger. So then I feel like I can't catch up. And this does happen to me. This just actually happened to me like an hour ago. I try really hard to just keep eating, to just have consistent amounts of snacks and small amounts of food throughout the day, and to have a lot of water. But every now and then, maybe something about my food choices or just my metabolism that day makes it so that that's not enough. And then I feel like it's urgent and I have to try and eat something. Mike just made fun of me because I just wanted substance. So I made a microwave soft pretzel, which I know is not the most nutritious or smart thing to eat. But I love having those on hand because it's really fast. In 30 seconds, it's ready. And it feels like I got something in my body, kind of substantial. I don't want anything when I'm in that mode. The thought of eating anything grosses me out, but I can tell I'm really hungry and I know I need to eat. I ate one of those soft pretzels, but I could just tell it wasn't gonna hold me, so I made a bowl of oatmeal. And Mike was like, "It is 96 degrees outside and you're eating oatmeal right now." And I was like, "I just need something. I need something fast. I need it to get in there." And I almost wonder if some of that has to do with my fruit intake. I know I bring this up a lot, that I have been eating fruit. Not a lot. I try not to eat too much fruit, or I try not to make too sugary a fruit selection, but sometimes I do eat something that's not ideal. Like I had pineapple a few hours before. So it might have been like a blood sugar crash type of feeling. I don't know. I really need to reevaluate my intake of fruit. So anyway, long story short, I've been going through that a few times, and then I feel like I'm just eating a ton just to try and shut my stomach up and make myself feel better and kind of settle it almost. It feels so, it's the closest I've come to nausea in this pregnancy, is that just like so hungry I feel sick feeling, and it doesn't matter how much I eat or how much water I drink. It takes a lot to quiet it and make it go away. So week 19, I think, was when I officially started to waddle. It's really hot out, and I don't know how anyone ever has a baby in the summertime, because I have so much further to go and I'm struggling. I mean, I try not to go out and really stay out for a long period of time when it's really hot. I try to dress appropriately for the weather. I'm not the type of person who likes to bare my arms, mainly because I have a skin condition on them called keratosis pilaris, little red bumps, and people say things to me about it regularly. Like strangers will ask me if I'm cold. I just don't know why people feel so comfortable commenting on another person's skin. But so, and my arms aren't in the best shape either, but screw that. I'm dressing for the weather. I'm trying to, wear my hair up and make sure that I'm not overdressed. Last summer I had jeans on almost every day. This summer I have shorts on every day. So I'm being mindful of that, and I'm not leaving the house as much. If I have several errands to run throughout the week, I try to really condense them down to a few days. Oh, Normal just ran into the tripod. Just because I don't want to be out for too long, but I have to be careful not to pile too much into one day, because then I'm out for a while that day. I have to probably take a look at my footwear, but just generally speaking, I'm trying to be careful, because when Mike and I went to do a registry at a store recently, my leg fell asleep while I was walking. I've never been standing up before and had my leg fall asleep. It just went completely numb. And I had to sit down and kind of stretch for a little while. And then I had to try and figure out how to walk a little differently to prevent that from happening the rest of the time we were out. Yeast infections, let's talk about that and get that out of the way. I discovered that I can no longer use belly oils. I have used 3 different brands, and all 3 times I have ended up with a yeast infection, which is no fun, because then I have to use medication, which I'm not really comfortable with using. My doctor's office, and I'm also between doctor's offices right now, so that's a little stressful, because if anything really came up, I don't have a doctor technically right now. So all of my files have been transferred from the old office, so I feel like I can never show my face there again. And I have not met with the midwife yet, so it's kind of, I'm in this weird limbo. But previously, before, when I was under the care of my gynecologist, his office, it was just one of his nurses told me to use one of the 3-day monostat type treatments. She said I could use a generic, but just use one of those. And no sooner would it clear up, but a few days later, last week I realized it was the third time I finally connected it to the belly oil. And I think what's happening is, if I had to guess, which is embarrassing and gross, is that it's hot outside, so I sweat, and the oil kind of makes its way from my belly down into my groin area, and it's causing the yeast infections, I'm guessing. I know you're more susceptible to them when you're pregnant, but I guess I'm glad at least I can pinpoint what it is. And I have a decent moisturizer I can use instead, but I guess I'm glad I figured that out now. And hopefully I won't be dealing with that anymore in the future. So let me talk about breathing problems. I noticed last week that I have these very, very brief moments of panic. And I think it has to do with my breathing. It's harder to breathe now. And if I get the slightest little bit of congestion, and or I'm doing something else, like I'm taking a sip of water, or I'm in the shower and the water passes over my face, or if I walk in front of a fan or an air conditioner vent, something like that, if for a split second it kind of restricts my breathing, I feel this just wave of hysteria through my body, like I can't breathe. Now, I don't think I've ever really gone through anything like that before, and I know that 90% of it is the fact that there's so much pressure on my lungs right now, and it's hot out, it's humid, it's just not the best conditions for breathing in general. So if anything else interferes with that, it starts to incite a panic in me. Luckily, it's so split second. I mean, by the time the thought comes through my mind, I just start breathing. I take a deep breath and I kind of center myself. But I am nervous for a time when maybe I'm not able to comfort myself or kind of reassure myself, like, you can breathe. And I guess the reason that scares me is because it's only going to get worse. And it's going to be fall and winter soon, which means I could get a cold. And if my breathing is restricted nasally, is that how you would say that? If my nasal breathing is restricted, at the same time as feeling like I can't get really full deep breaths, that scares me a little bit. Like, oh gosh, what am I going to do then? So I'm definitely going to bring that up with the midwife when I meet with her. Just say, hey, I don't know if I need a breathing exercise or if there's anything you can possibly recommend to me when this happens. But I'm definitely identifying that that's an issue. And that was one of the things that was freaking me out when the power went out, because there was something about no air conditioners in the house going, no fans, no lights, not even outside, pitch black, silence. And I felt like all I could hear was my heavy breathing. And it was getting more heavy and more stressed sounding because I was noticing it. So I know that that didn't help the circumstance, but because I had been noticing myself having these issues lately, I think that's why I was so focused on it. So that's why I came downstairs, and I have one of those like necklace fans. Just bought it a couple of days ago because when I was doing the dishes, I thought it would be nice to have one of those. My aunt used to wear those a lot in the summertime, and she used to buy them by the case because she'd burn through them. She'd wear them all the time. So I knew about it because of that, and I think I had seen them in stores and such, but I would never have thought to use one if it hadn't been for her using them regularly within the last few years. So it was so nice that I had that because it's battery operated, so I didn't need electricity. And I turned it on, and I just sort of angled it towards my body, and so that I could feel and hear a fan going. And it instantly made me feel so much better. And I sat with that thing on for almost the full 3 hours until the power came back on, and it saved me. I was gonna have to leave the house. I was getting ready to grab my laptop and go sit at a Tim Hortons until Mike called me and said the power was on. I don't know. I was starting to freak out. And that's like, who cares? The power's out, big deal. But that day I was having an issue, and it was mostly because of that breathing thing, I guess. Another thing that I want to bring up briefly is that I really hope that none of you misunderstood me. I talked about this a little bit on Snapchat just because I wanted to vent my frustration. But in my week 17 update, I had mentioned that I was feeling self-conscious about my belly. And I feel like a lot of people thought that I was not appreciating it or didn't. I don't know what anybody thought, but I could tell that I had been misunderstood, and that was really frustrating. The part of my belly that I'm self-conscious about is not the pregnancy part. That part is wonderful. The part that I'm ashamed of is the part that I did to myself. It was years of obesity and stretching and then subsequent weight loss. I have an apron belly underneath my pregnancy belly. And I don't know why, but I thought that that was going to be more full. I thought that I was going to fill out more in the bottom and that wouldn't be an issue. I'm not disappointed about that. I'm just surprised. I guess I just didn't know what to think. And now that I feel like I'm looking more pregnant, listen, I don't even feel like I want to have to justify it. It's frustrating to be obese and pregnant, and I was trying to avoid that for a long time. I wasn't quite at the point yet where I would have needed skin removal surgery, but I was hoping to move in that direction, and that's nothing I would have done before I had children. So this was going to happen no matter what. I was prepared for it. I'm okay with it. I guess I just said that I was surprised that I was feeling as self-conscious as I was, but I'm proud and happy and so fulfilled right now in my life. Everything that I've ever wanted and dreamed of is coming true, and it's almost like I can't even grasp the reality of that. Please do not mistake the fact that I am so happy to be pregnant and so in love with having a belly. I don't care about that. I don't know. I'm a woman who grew up as a teenager influenced by media and mean boyfriends, and I don't love my body as much as I wish I did, but I do more now than I ever would have when I was in better shape. I was always so critical of myself. Even when I weighed 150 pounds, I wouldn't have wanted to post full body pictures of myself online because I would have felt self-conscious. So please don't mistake the things that I said. And don't misunderstand. Listen, I thought we were friends. I thought I could confide in you and just say something casually, like that I was surprised that I felt self-conscious about my belly. And it's not the pregnant part. That's all I have to say, okay? I do think I look more pregnant now than I did then, even. From the front, I don't think I look pregnant, and it's because of that hanging lower part of my belly. No matter what I wear, you can see it in my maternity pants and everything. It's there. There's no denying it. So, that's just the part that frustrates me, and especially because I get stared at in public a lot. I think people are trying to make out like if they can tell if I'm pregnant or not, and that's fine, but it's just more attention being drawn to my body. So I don't know. I just felt like I need to clear the air on that. Please don't misunderstand what I was saying. Please. So outside of physical things, something really exciting that happened in week 19 is we got a new washer and dryer, and that is all thanks to my incredibly supportive husband. He has a hard time spending money. He doesn't like to make big purchases, especially. It really stresses him out. And we had a perfectly functioning washer and dryer. They were like very base models, like $200 units, very, very inexpensive, just to get by, just something to use. They didn't work great, but they worked. And technically speaking, we did not have to buy a new washer and dryer. But when I had started talking to him about wanting to cloth diaper, I just casually mentioned we may want to see how much it costs to get a new washer. Just because I don't think the one that we had was ideal for that. And I said, if that's a deal breaker for you and you really don't want a cloth diaper because of the investment in a new washer, I understand, and we can maybe try and meet in the middle on that somewhere. And he didn't even hesitate. He didn't argue with me. He said, let's get a new washer and dryer, because this is important to me. And he really wants to support this effort to cloth diaper. And with as little information as I have on it, I'm going to do my best to teach him and to make sure that we are doing this together and on the same page and really well educated so that we can hopefully be successful. I did a lot of research. I polled people publicly, like, hey, what washers and dryers do you have? And we actually purchased it, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, but they couldn't deliver it until last week. And they're glorious. Yes, I'm so excited to have such high performing machines going into cloth diapering. I know it wasn't necessary, but it will definitely make a difference. And Mike even, just in general, our clothes are so much cleaner. And Mike even said that he doesn't think that his comforter has been so clean. He also completely wiped down the basement, cleared it of cobwebs, cleaned behind the area and repainted the back wall, painted the floor in that area because we only kind of painted up to the washer before and didn't fully paint the wall. And it was kind of dark. We had chosen dark grays, which aren't great for a basement. And he took a light blue paint that we had used somewhere else in the house, and he painted the whole back wall with that, and one of the pipes even, and it looks so bright and happy out down there now. He's also installing a light. It's like a small track light with movable bulbs so that I can aim it towards certain sections of the laundry room and put a folding table down there for me, and it's just so nice. He spent a whole day doing all of that the day that the appliances were delivered, and I just love him for it. It's just such a sweet and thoughtful thing for him to do because he knows I'm going to be down there a lot. So that was really wonderful. He's so wonderful. Another exciting thing that happened last week, which I'm surprised it's only been a week now, but maybe it has. Maybe it's been a little over a week. I don't know. But we started planning one of my baby showers. My mother and sister are throwing a baby shower for my side of the family and some friends. And we found a really cute location, and it kind of lent itself to becoming a little bit of a theme. And I'm so excited, and I've been really emotional. The last couple of weeks I've cried about something at least every day. I saw on the side of the road after the storm we'd had, there was a puddle on the side of the road where there normally wouldn't be. And there was probably about 3 dozen little tiny birds all bathing and splashing and jumping around in it. And I just lost it. So I've been very emotional, and just the thought of pulling together a baby shower, I don't know. I hope I can hold it together that day, is all I can say. But it's just so surreal. Every little step we take, it just never seems more real at any point. It just keeps feeling like a complete dream. So last week, Mike and I did another one of our registries. We are planning 3 store registries just because from the research I've done and the things that I think that would be nice to have, they're not all in the same place. So I talked about this a little bit last week, I think, but we did another one of our registries. We'll be registering at 3 different stores, mainly just because we don't want to just settle on items just to keep the registries all in one place. I also think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I've purchased from many registries. I've never really had that many myself, but I think that it's nice at least to have a few different store options for people also. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just being ridiculous, but we did go to Target last week and picked out a few things, and there were a couple of main items through Target that I wanted to register for, and then we just picked out some small things to accompany it. I'm finding that Target is my least favorite place of all of them that I have submitted registry information to. I'll be compiling everything on Babylist just because I think Babylist is actually the most user-friendly and the best system that I've used. On both part of the registry and the registrant, but I don't think it's very well known. So I'm going to keep my registries individual, but also just kind of link them through Babylist. And Target doesn't let you change pictures or categories. It's very difficult to know if something's only available in store. Their scanners in the store were crap. Their app for scanning things is crap. I love Target, but they really need to work on their registry system. So I'm fine with the fact that there's not a lot of stuff that we were looking at there. I am finding out that it feels awkward. Well, are you guys surprised at all because of how awkward I already am? But are you surprised at all that I feel strange about registering? I think it's because I was scarred by an old friend, a former friend, because this wasn't one of the only not so nice things about her, but she used to look at people's registries regularly and just trash them. She'd go through item by item. You don't need that. You don't need that. What are you going to do with one of those? You need more of those than what they registered for. That brand is terrible. And I think it just really sunk in that I'm making these choices. Some of them are very well researched. Some I just was like, you know, like the reviews kind of are the same for everything, so I'm just going to pick this brand. And I don't know, it's weird because I'm feeling like I know there's going to be people who are looking at my registry like, what the hell is she thinking? And going through stuff and tearing it apart just like this awful friend. In fact, she might even find my registries because I think she knows that I'm pregnant, and she might do that. She might go through and tell her new friend that she likes to be mean with, oh, look at this and look what she's got, and she doesn't know anything, she's a first-time mom. I don't know where people get the confidence, because have you ever known women, and if you were one of them, it's totally cool, because I envy it, and I don't know how to obtain it, but there's always this weird confidence, like I know everything, I read whatever, or I researched whatever, and you can't tell me anything because I know it all. And I'm kind of like, wow, like where do they get that from? Because I need some of that. I feel like I have no confidence in any of the decisions I'm making. I'm constantly questioning things and double checking things and wondering, like, is this a terribly detrimental decision I'm making? Am I not putting enough thought into this? How do people know? How do people decide what breast pump they want? How do people know what bottles they're gonna buy? I don't know. I don't know. So it's just funny to me because I'm going through and doing this registry. And when I mentioned that when Mike and I got married, he was really stingy. We were going around linens and things, and I wanted to scan a certain lamp, and he was like, oh my God, honey, no. That lamp is $20. I was like, it's the least expensive one here, but I like it. You know, he's like, oh, we should just buy that ourselves. In fact, I have a funny story for you. That year, I think I turned 24 or 25 that year. The year that we registered for our wedding, we got in a fight about a paper towel holder because I wanted a paper towel holder, a nice new one. I think we had one from like Dollar Tree, and I wanted to get a nice stainless steel one. And Mike was like, do you see how much money that is? It's $20. It's like, they're all $20. That's pretty much what they cost unless you get one of the, you know, ones like from Dollar Tree that we have. And he was so mad at me and so disgusted with me that I was going to ask for a paper towel holder that cost $20. And then I started to second guess it. Like, is that rude? Should I not register for that? So for my birthday, a couple of months later, he bought it for me. Which means he really didn't understand. But anyway, I am now, this time, the one who's a little weirded out by things. Because I'm like, I don't even know. Like, is somebody going to see this? And I don't know. Who cares, right? Right? Is that how I should feel? Like, if somebody wants to judge me, let them judge me. But I don't know. I don't know. If you think that I'm making a mistake, just tell me. Because I would love to hear it. I would love to know. I'm trying to do a lot of research. I'm trying to get as much information as I can. Sometimes it's all so overwhelming, and it feels like down to every little detail of every little item, there's so many, I don't know, opinions and reviews and different brands, and sometimes I feel like, how do people ever make these decisions? So as a result, I also have started to venture into the world of YouTube moms a little bit. If you have a favorite YouTube mom, I'd like to know who it is. If it's somebody who does daily vlogs, that's not really my thing, but I have watched a few. I've been really into Erin Williams, her videos. I don't watch Big Brother. I didn't even know who she was before YouTube. So I know that people have mixed feelings on her. I think she's darling, and I've learned a lot from her just from the things that she has purchased. And I like the fact that her daughter was just born, I think, in June. So everything's very current. I mean, stuff that my sister registered for and, you know, purchased for herself when my nieces were born, some of it doesn't exist anymore. Some of it, there's newer and better options out. So I've enjoyed that, and I've learned about a few things from her that I wouldn't have known about otherwise. And I just like to kind of get a peek into the life of a first-time mom. She's a lot younger than me, but I've just enjoyed that. So if there's anybody that you watch or that you have watched, especially someone who has had a baby like in the last year or so, I'm really curious. I'll give it a shot. I feel like most of my friends who made TTC vlogs and TTC videos don't make them anymore. Only a few of them do. And I would love that because some of my favorite people in the world I met through YouTube, including my friend Molly, who's getting married tomorrow. Molly. And I'm only not going to be there because I'm pregnant and Mike doesn't want me to travel alone while I'm pregnant, which is very sweet of him. And also the Zika virus was found in Florida now. And that's where her wedding is. So he just said, please, I know it means a lot to you. You can go if you want to. I'm not going to say no, but please don't go. So it's really sad because I would have loved to be there for her special day. I hope it goes great. Oh, and another thing, if you guys have any shower games, I don't want to play a lot of shower games. I don't like them very much. But especially if you've done something really unique or really fun or funny, I would like to hear about it. I really dislike, in fact, I will use the word hate. I hate some traditional baby shower games. Do you know which one really makes my blood boil, which I don't even like to participate in? Is that one where you wear like a clip and then if you say baby or like the mom-to-be's name or something, people can steal your clip and they're like, you said baby. I just want to punch people. I hate that game. And I don't even play. Like the last couple of baby showers I went to, I didn't even put a clip on my clothes because I'm like, I don't even want to participate. So I would like say the mom-to-be's name and people would be like, oh, you said where's your clip? And I'm like, I hate this game. Can I leave now? This is terrible. I want to be able to speak freely and have people actually listening to me and not listening for keywords. So please don't recommend that one, but and I'm sorry if you like that game. I don't see the enjoyment in it whatsoever. But if there's anything that you've done, I'll tell you what my favorite shower game is, which I may incorporate. I actually did it for my sister's wedding. I found it online and we had never heard of it before, but it was called Draw a Bride. And everyone got a little square of paper and you were supposed to hold the paper behind your head and use your head as your writing surface. And then we described a bride that you had to draw, and she had to have a veil and a dress and shoes and flowers. And so everybody drew them. And the room just explodes with laughter when people see what they've actually drawn, because you think you're doing what, I mean, you should try it. You really should try it if you haven't. The night that my sister and I read about it online, we tried it in her living room and we were crying with laughter. It was so much fun. So maybe we'll try something like that, but I don't know. I'm up for suggestions. I have been to quite a few baby showers and I feel like people are 50-50 on games. They either love them and feel like they're absolutely necessary, or they don't like them and don't have any at all. So if any of you come up with something really great though, maybe we'll use it, because I'm open to the idea. I just need good ideas first. So that is it for week 19. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you as always to all of you who comment. It always warms my heart when someone says, like, I've never commented before and they feel moved to do so. I'm even bad at commenting, as much as I know that people appreciate it and how nice it is to get really kind and supportive comments. I usually watch YouTube videos when I'm like doing laundry or housework or working, so I'm almost more listening to them than watching. And it's usually on my phone, and I don't know if you've commented on YouTube on your phone, but it's not a great system. So I don't know, I just don't do it very often because I get lazy, but it means a lot to me when people take the time to just be supportive and be sweet and say something nice and just let me know that they're here. I don't know, it's just nice. But that is it. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.